So we're gonna be talking about that. In my opinion, that this is one of the most boringest rides to see and build in Open RCT2 because it doesn't really do a whole much. So there are actually two differences with this ride with its vehicles. So we have shown here we have the regular observation tower cabin, and then on next to it we have the double-decker observation cabin. You will only see this very often in theme parks. I think there used to be one called the Space Needle, or is that the Space Shot? Um, there at Cedar Point, they took it out to make room for Gatekeeper, but very seldom that theme parks will have that. And then very often theme parks will add the single or the regular observation cabin. So parks that you'll see this at is Knott's Berry Farm with Sky Cabin, and then I think the SeaWorld parks. Well, I might be wrong. I think it's also this one, a double-decker one. But for parks like Knott's Berry Farm with Sky Cabin, parks like California's Grand America with their Sky Cabin, they will have an observation tower the same as this. So, but very seldom parks will have this one. So it's a really boring ride. I'll tell you why it's boring is because it doesn't really do a whole lot with it just goes up and down the tower. It doesn't really like do anything much. It just slowly goes down. I mean, what's good about this ride is that your guests in the park will absolutely get a magnificent view of your theme park and the surrounding area of your amusement or theme park. So the guest goes on this ride, they will just be inside the tower. No, they cannot jump out, just like in the airplane. So what they do is basically you just have to stay in the cabin and just sit down and look at the park, or they can stand up a little bit and kind of go close to the window just to see the view, to see how the park really looks like. Kind of gets a bird's eye view of the park, kind of like you're doing like a drone video that you can see everything. But they have this because they know that doing drone shots are actually illegal in theme parks. So they just have this sky cabin or observation tower so that the guests can take a look at the view. It's just a really boring ride to build, and it's also very boring to see for players too. So it doesn't really do a whole lot. So it's just an additional attraction for your guests to kind of like for them to see out there, but it doesn't really do much. So I don't know if the viewers will really get you know tired of looking at it. I mean, technically, when you click on the ride, you won't be able to see like a first-person POV, like a perspective, like a first-person perspective for the ride. In like Roller Coaster Tycoon 3, you can do that, but here you could just do like a view of the cabin, but you can't really view the inside. And then for this one, the same thing. You can't really do like a first person, perspective on ride POV cam on the game. But it looks cool, but it's just that you can't really do much with the ride. So this is only for the guests though. But normally the players won't really want to add this if they can try to avoid adding these. But this is just for the guests. But they don't really pay attention with the observation tower. So yeah. And just like the Roto Drop and Launch Freefall, you can choose how tall you want your sky cabin to be or your observation tower to be. So you can even go 200 feet, you can go 300 feet. I think the one at Knott's is like nearly 300 feet. So probably like almost as tall as Supreme Scream at Knott's Berry Farm. So you can pretty much make it as tall as you can, but be careful though, there might be like a height limit of this ride. It might just say too high. So can't build it taller than that. No, but normally I think 300 feet is probably the max for a observation tower. So you can really choose how tall you want the observation tower to be. And to be honest, it's obvious that you could save your track design also, even if you can choose the height of the ride. and it's pretty much the same thing, just like the launch free fall and the Rudo drop. uh, you don't really need to save the design because it's really the same height really, and you could just adjust the height if you want. So, and also what you can also do with this ride is you can change the color scheme for the ride. So you can change it to any color you want the structure to be. You can choose red, green, purple. You can choose blue. So you can do a whole lot with this. You can even make the trim white if you want. So you can do a whole lot with this. For the color scheme, you could choose any colors you want. It's just that the downside is it doesn't really do a whole lot here. Like you want to see the inside and you want to be doing a first person perspective or something like that. So for me this is like one of the most boringest rides in the game, and to be honest I don't know why it's added here. And they have a ride similar to this, but we're gonna get that um, in just a bit here. But about the observation tower, you can put this in scenarios, but you know people don't really talk about it a lot because it doesn't really do like a whole lot. So it just goes slowly upwards, and then for a few seconds you will stay there in the air for like 1 second or 2 seconds while spinning around 360, and then you will then slowly drop down. No, you're not gonna free fall down like the launched free fall or the Ruder drop. You will then slowly rotate 360 and you will go down slowly the tower. So it doesn't really do anything much. So unfortunately I consider this as one of the most boringest attractions in the game, at least to build. But for guests you could add this. It's just that it's just not really that fun to kind of like make and build at, you know, just for fun or anything. This is just additional attraction for guests. So I mean you don't really need to add this attraction. It's just that it's just a bonus here for guests. So they will rate your park higher, but it doesn't really like do a whole lot. So you know, I don't know why this ride is even here. While you have the elevator. The elevator is pretty much almost the same as the observation tower. However, this is a lift cabin, so people are actually inside an elevator going up the tower. However, there are still some things to do in there. So you can basically just walk around the tower inside this cabin here, and then you'll just wait for the elevator to get back down. Problem with it though is that some people do get lost in the structure here, but it's pretty much the same thing. It's probably a lot better than the sky cabin. At least you could like put a footpath like right up there, and yeah. So I'm gonna show you how it's actually built. So this is actually how the elevator actually works. So basically you have to, so basically it goes up the tower, and then you could have a multiple entrance somewhere that goes somewhere. So like if you have a cliffside scenario that you need to do, it's probably gonna work best to have the guest kind of like just go from the bottom to the top. So it will work really well. So as you can tell, I added like a cliffside. You can pretty much have like a flat ride on the top, and like it's just an easier way for the guests to kind of like go from one place to another, so their feet don't get too tired climbing up the stairs. So this ride's probably a lot better, but yeah. So I just feel like the elevator is a lot better, and to be honest, there's also something pretty much similar to the other rides about this. So just like the observation tower, the launched free fall, and the Rudo drop, you could also choose the height of the structure you want. So you can go 200 feet, 100 feet, 300 feet, 400 feet, any of that barrier you can go up to. As long as you reach the height limit, because they do have a height limit that you can build certain rides. So like this one, is probably only up to 600 feet, so you can't go more than that. No, I think it's only up to 500 feet, to be honest. I think that's their max that they can go up to. So and also you can change the colors of however you want the structure to be. You can make it purple, you can make it light purple, you can make it red, just like the one at Magic Mountain. You can even make it this color. You can make it green. You can make it blue. You can even make it orange. And you can make it yellow, for Pete's sake. So you can do anything. You can choose any colors. The height is pretty much the maximum is only 500 feet, so you can't go more than that. However, it is a better addition actually than the observation tower, so it really does something, because it will then take guests to another area, which is the top part of the park or something. So if it's like a cliffside park, you know, there's a cliff there, you could just take an elevator down there or something like that. So you can even go down there just to go swimming or something, or whatever. But to be honest, elevator is probably a lot more better than the observation. I just feel like the observation tower ride is just plain boring. So anyway guys, what do you guys think? Is the observation tower really boring? Do you guys think that that ride is still worth it? So post your comments below, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.